Seth, thank you again for joining us. So the next step in the process, please discuss the underwriting, because that seems a little intimidating, but what does that mean? And how can the buyer appreciate what's going on during that quiet period?
Absolutely. So the underwriting is probably the most important part of the loan process. The underwriter is the person that is going to give the final approval, the final yes or no. And so what we've done over the last 2 weeks to get to this point is we have done everything we can to put the loan package together. Most people don't know that a completed loan package is over 1,000 pages of documentation. So we've been very, very busy asking the clients and the title company and other third-party vendors for all the supporting documentation. And by the time it goes to the underwriter, we feel confident that the underwriter is going to say yes.
Great.
So that is our goal, that is our job. And so we're going to get that file to the underwriter. They're going to take a couple days to review it. Now, typically, the underwriter says yes, but typically the underwriter also asks for a couple of items. We call them conditions.
Okay.
And so at the end of the day, underwriting is an opinion. And so there's no way for us to know up front everything the underwriter is going to ask for. So we do our very best to get all of the items into the file and present them to the underwriter, knowing that there's probably one or two things she's going to ask for just to kind of tie up any loose ends. There's nothing to be alarmed about.
So when you say condition, give us an example of what a condition may, or it's kind of a common condition that tends to come up.
Sure. So we're required to present 4 pay stubs. She might require a 5th pay stub.
Okay.
There might be some irregularity in hours worked or in overtime.
Okay.
And she might want to see one more pay stub just to feel comfortable that we're calculating the income correctly.
Excellent. Okay, great. And just point out a couple of the do's and the don'ts. So right before underwriting and while it's in underwriting, what are some things that our buyers need to fully understand that they should not be doing in the process or throughout the entire process?
Well, throughout the entire process, it's very important that we're not moving money around in our bank accounts, because they're going to look at your bank accounts, and any money that's moved around, they're going to need an explanation and they're going to need a source. This also means that we don't want to deposit any cash in our bank account at all. And anything that we do deposit, we need to be prepared to show a copy of the check or item deposited.
Okay.
That's very important.
Okay.
Another thing is your credit. Do not apply for anything. The day you go to closing, the day you sign and get your keys, they're going to pull your credit again. And if there's any new accounts, if there's any opened accounts, that can and will delay your closing. The third thing is employment. Sometimes people get offered a raise with a new position and a new title at a new plant, and that can delay your closing as well. So it's important that our assets, our credit, and our employment stay the same throughout the entire process.
Oh, that's great to know. And again, if you have any questions throughout the process, don't hesitate to reach out to one of us or anyone on our team to answer your questions. When in doubt, ask the question. Play it safe. Okay, well, thank you again, Seth, and stay tuned as we move again to the next step in our process.